Doug, a special second edition of In the Trenches. This time we're talking Michigan defense, and very clear early in the game that Florida's game plan was to follow Indiana and Ohio State and get to the perimeter on Michigan and exploit the linebackers. And on this play, we're going to talk about one play where they get exploited, but on this play, Desmond Morgan slips out of a block and makes a nice play.
Morgan does a nice job coming from the Mike linebacker spot here. The left guard and left tackle from Florida are going to try to combo block down to three technique, which looks like goaded in there. The left tackle never gets home to the Mike linebacker, which is Morgan here. And so when Morgan's given the opportunity to run free and make a tackle, you got to go execute and make the tackle, which is exactly what he does here. He does a nice job getting down low and securing the tackle. We did not see this against Ohio State, so it's great to see that he did make the improvement from that game. That was a good tackle there. Now, the not-so-good news is on the front side here, Joe Bolden is getting manhandled by the front side ISO block, and we got to do a better job of getting off blocks there. But Morgan gets a lot of credit here for doing exactly what you're supposed to do when you're unblocked. Go make a tackle.
So, Doug, the very next play, 12:35 to go in the first quarter, and Royce Jenkins-Stone is responsible for spying the quarterback here. Does a really nice job at first, and then once Harris breaks, he misses a tackle.
Yeah, this is a real simple spy technique here. He's not rushing. He's sitting there watching the eyes. The rest of the Michigan defensive line is doing a pretty good job here. Willie Henry is about to get some pressure, which causes the quarterback to step up and make a move. When he does so, that's when Stone's got to make his job effective and get the job done. And then unfortunately, that quarterback puts a little move on him, and Stone's down on the ground back there at the 30 as this kid's running for a first down.
10:37 to go in the first quarter here. And a couple plays earlier, Jeremy Clark had an opportunity to break up a pass, maybe even get an interception and let the ball play him, and a receiver almost caught the ball. Here he makes a really nice play in the end zone to prevent a touchdown pass.
Well, he does a nice job recovering here after this wide receiver gets on his backside and goes up for this play. He doesn't give up, and he continues to get down there in that right arm. If you can watch this thing in slow motion from this end zone copy they're showing here, this right arm gets up there as the ball arrives, and he slaps that thing out of there, disrupting the catching ability of this wideout and making the play. It's a nice no call by the ref. This is football in the end zone here. Clark does a nice job recovering and making the play.
Doug, we've been waiting for Joe Bolden to really kind of mature and become the player that we've heard he's going to be. And finally, for one game at least, his final game, he played really well. And this is a good play that illustrates his intelligence and some of the instincts that we've heard about.
Well, I think he does a great job here, and he's the fine defender. So they got a little bootleg here. They're pulling this offensive lineman out here. But in the middle of this play, if you slow it down, you watch, as Bolden goes out to take the flat, he'll take a glance over his shoulder to see what's out there in his area. And when he realizes that 81, the receiver, is out there, but he's covered by one of the other defensive backs, this allows Bolden to press the line of scrimmage and attack this pulling offensive lineman. It sets the line of scrimmage, and that quarterback's got nowhere to go but to run out of bounds for maybe a half-a-yard gain. He does such a good job. Gets a pat in the butt from the head coach. Nice job, Bolden.
All right, Doug, here we are, first and goal for the Florida Gators offense, and this is about 3 minutes, about 2:51 to go in the first quarter, and a great play by Michigan to get penetration with their defensive line and drive Florida back.
Anytime you get down inside the 5-yard line, the game changes. It gets more physical, and the tough guys sort of rise to the occasion here. And what you'll notice on this play is when the ball is snapped, the Michigan defensive line is the one who's crossing that black line that ABC has generated, computer generated on the screen there is the line of scrimmage. You'll see that Michigan's the one who gets the push, and they stretch the play. There's absolutely nowhere for that ball carrier to go. The left tackle and tight end try double team and Wormley, and he beats them both. And then you got linebackers filling, and there's no chance at all for Florida to have any success on this play.
Doug, first play of the second quarter, and this is the kind of play that, as we're discussing, that Ohio State and Indiana probably gave Michigan some trouble on. Pulling the guard, getting out there and kick blocking the linebacker. But here, Royce Jenkins-Stone blows up this play.
Watch the play closely as the stand-up tight end for Florida, number 80, is expected to come down and gap or down block on Jenkins-Stone here. At the snap of the ball, Jenkins-Stone jumps that D-gap, drops his shoulder, that tight end whiffs. Now, that screws up the entire play for Florida. Now the pulling guard has to absorb Jenkins-Stone, and and it messes up the whole front side. The edge of the defense is blocked. But because Jenkins Stone gets penetration in there and knocks that lead block off, the rest of it is history. The rest, it allows the linebackers to flow and flow freely to clog the front side hole for virtually no gain.
Doug, 1st and 10, about 8:10 to go in the second quarter, and Michigan actually defends this trickeration, this flea flicker pretty well at first, but then Trayon Harris makes a great move and a great couple of moves, and you're not happy with the tackling here.
Well, I think Michigan defenses play rather well. It's a little toss sweep flea flicker. The quarterback takes a peek downfield and doesn't like it and takes off. Michigan obviously defended the core play itself very well, but when the quarterback, the slippery quarterback, takes off their running, we miss. The first time we touch him, we miss him at the 42-yard line. Looks like Gideon there misses, and then Henry misses. And so we're missing tackles. And what that reminded me of right there was the way we tackled late in the season, and specifically against Ohio State. When you tackle like that and you give up a slippery 10, 15 yards, you're not going to win. On that particular play, we didn't look real good.
Doug, third quarter, 8:44, 1st and 10 for Florida after Michigan has scored, make it 24-7. And Florida's trying to set up the screen pass here, and Willie Henry does a terrific job diagnosing this play.
Well, Henry does an awesome job. And anytime an offensive lineman tries to punch and then release that defensive lineman upfield to let him go get the quarterback, a good defensive lineman is going to smell a rat. And so he does that here. He realizes that something's wrong anytime a guard's trying to let you go get that quarterback, sees the flash of color of the back cross in his face and just grabs him. The linebackers are sitting there anyway for the play, even if he does throw it, and then the defensive lineman finishing off in the backfield. That's great screen defense by realizing what that offensive line's trying to do to you.
Doug, about 3:10 to go in the third quarter, and Jordan Lewis was an All-American this season and set a Michigan single-season record in pass breakups with 22. And here is a perfect demonstration of what he does well for the Michigan defense.
Jordan Lewis is awesome on this play. He starts off with a 5-yard cushion. And I think that Florida obviously they've got a pre-snap, a little slant play out here, but it helps them when we bring linebackers in the middle. The middle of the field between the hashes is wide open. Lewis realizes the route and breaks on this ball with such a burst of speed, and then he has that textbook technique where he's got that right arm behind and slaps the ball with his left arm. So that's exactly how they coach it. It's exactly how you're supposed to execute it, and that's why he's an All-American.
Doug, here we are, about 11:10 to go in the fourth quarter. And at this point, Trayon Harris just doesn't want any part of Michigan's defensive line. And when Willie Henry bears down on him, he releases that ball as fast as he possibly can. He still gets walloped.
You see, pre-snap, Michigan's in a press man look here on the edge. Our DBs are walked right up. By rule, it's a 3-man front, but with Ross Jenkins Stone standing around there near the center and the A-gaps, it's going to be a 4-man rush. Jenkins Stone's going to try to drill the center to allow Hurst to loop around to the front side A-gap. But the pressure really is produced here by Willie Henry on the edge, just beating this tackle around the long way. And that quarterback feels that pressure and is thinking, my God, I got to get rid of this before I get killed. The quarterback here should have thrown to the flat guy who's running back on the 40-yard line. Tries to go for the further throw, and it's incomplete. The open man was right there in the flat. But this is well blocked for a moment until Willie Henry blows this thing up and then crushes the quarterback at the end.
Doug, 6:10 to go in the fourth quarter. Our final play of the game defensively, and Delano Hill perfectly times his blitz, and he's the first of 3 Wolverines that close on the quarterback because at this point, as you said, Michigan's just having fun and Florida's just living their worst nightmare.
Well, I think Florida here is wishing this was high school football with a running clock so this game could just get over with here. This is Madison dialing up the safety blitz from the near sideline. There's no one over there to pick it up. It's called against the perfect play. This is shooting fish in a barrel with Harold coming off the edge, unblocked for a free shot. But look at all the pressure and the loose blocks and the white shirts coming up the middle with absolutely no one blocking them. Florida's offensive line is standing around pushing, flat-footed. They're clearly done for the day, and Michigan's just having a great time out here capping off this victory.
Well, Doug, it was a fun year, the two of us breaking down the offense and defense for Michigan and in the trenches video segment. And This is our final game, although as we talked about the other day, we are going to break down Brown's defense at Boston College. But just wanted to say thanks so much, and I'm sure, I know the fans enjoyed it, and I know that you enjoyed it too.
It was a lot of fun. This reminds me of coaching and playing again, where you get to drop the arrows and break down what's going on in the middle, and it's fun to see the game inside of the game, and it's fun to point it out, and I've really enjoyed it, so thanks a lot.
And we should throw a special thanks out to the guy that's been breaking down the video for us, MGO Videos. Thorin Sprandel has done an outstanding job all year, putting highlighting those plays and putting the arrows up there and everything like that. It's really Doug and I probably get credit because our names are on the front and center, but it's really a three-team job. And as Bo Schembechler says, Doug, it's all about the team, the team, the team.